So today we're going to take a look at what's going to happen if Australia tries to form an empire in 2024. Now this video is going to be very unrealistic. So yeah, before we get into this video, first of all I want to say that major alliances like NATO, CSTO, the EU or the UN, they do not exist in my videos. If they would exist, they would not let these countries to expand. Also, subscribe to my second channel, join the Discord server via the link in the description. But yeah, now let's get right into the video. Now as we can see here, Australia is a pretty strong country. Australia does not border any country right here, so yeah, they're gonna have to use their navy, which actually is pretty good, but they still have to work on their navy in order to expand their realm and in order to conquer new lands. Australia also does have a pretty good economy, and that economy would easily be able to support this military that they're gonna have. Also, the countries near them are not very strong, except for Indonesia, they're pretty strong. But yeah, if we talk about all of these island nations, and then there's Papua New Guinea, then there's New Zealand, they're not as strong. So yeah, as I said, the Australians are gonna have to use their navy for the most part. So yeah, for the next few decades, we can see that the Australians had been building their navy. They were also working on their military too, importing weapons from the United States. So yeah, after all of this time, we can now see that the Australians are recruiting troops from all over the country, and it seems like they are ready for their first invasion. And yeah, now we can see that the Australians have declared war on Papua New Guinea, and things are not looking good for Papua New Guinea here. And once again, unfortunately for Papua New Guinea, their capital city was right on the coast. And yeah, the first thing that the Australians do is they make a naval landing right here, in which they were successfully able to take out the capital city of Papua New Guinea. These troops push around the coast. We can see that they make another naval landing up here, taking out this entire island. And yeah, these troops also push up. These areas were taken, and the remaining parts of Papua New Guinea just go ahead and surrender. And later on, we can see that all of Papua New Guinea got completely annexed by the Australian Empire. This was the first decisive victory for the Australian Empire, as they were able to take out a country. So yeah, the Australians are still going to militarize their country. They're still working on their navy for more future invasions. And after the invasion of Papua New Guinea, we can see that these neighboring countries are also militarizing their country, as they saw what happened to Papua New Guinea and they don't want that to happen to themselves. So yeah, these countries are now preparing not to declare war on the Australians, but to actually defend themselves. So yeah, after the invasion of Papua New Guinea, the Australians are simply going to be sending ultimatums. And yeah, they send these ultimatums to all of these South Pacific islands, demanding their annexation. All these guys had no other choice but to accept the ultimatums. So yeah, but after further militarizations and after making their navy even better, we can now see that the Australians are ready for their second invasion, and this one of course is going to be of New Zealand. So yeah, we need to keep one more thing in mind, and that is the Australian military is now way better than it was before. I mean, they had been working for decades. They're probably in the top 10 now. So yeah, we can see that the Australians make a naval landing down here, taking out the capital city. This part surrenders. We can see that the remaining army pushes down, and eventually we can see that all of New Zealand is under the Australian control. And once again, we can see that New Zealand got completely annexed by the Australian Empire. This was another decisive victory for the Australian Empire, and as of right now, they have one final ultimatum to send. They're going to be sending an ultimatum to East Timor. These guys had to accept the ultimatum, and yeah, by now they've taken out all of the minor countries near them. What remains is Indonesia, and as of right now, they don't want to declare war on Indonesia, not because they can't take them out, but because it's gonna deeply weaken Australia. So yeah, instead they work on their navy even more. They make it better and better every day. I mean, that's pretty much what they have. And in all of this time, the Australian military is now way better. Their economy is also doing very good. They still have good relations with the West, mainly with the United States, who is heavily supporting them. So yeah, their invasions are going to continue, and after a few more years, we can now see that the Australians are fully prepared for another invasion. This time they go a bit far away and they declare war on Madagascar. I mean, it's not too far away. So yeah, let's see. We can see that the Australians make a naval landing on the western coast of Madagascar. They push down the coast. Eventually we can see that this army was able to take the capital city. The front lines have been broadened, and the Australians easily take out the northern parts. The remaining country of Madagascar surrenders, and again we can see that Madagascar got completely annexed by the Australian Empire. The Australians have a very strategic location right here. They can conduct future military campaigns, and yeah, there's nothing bad about having this island right here. That is going to help them out significantly. So yeah, good for the Australians. The Australians are on fire right now. They're taking out country after country. They don't stop here, as once again they are ready for another invasion. This time it's going to be Malaysia for its strategic location. So yeah, we can see that the Australian Navy has now arrived on the coast of Malaysia, and they make a naval landing up in the north. We can see that they make another naval landing in the eastern parts, pushing around here too. But their main goal is to get to the capital city of Kuala Lumpur. We can see that the Australians finally get to the capital and they take it with relative ease because their military was way better. The western parts surrender. The troops right here still push around, but the Malaysian troops right here are also demoralized, and so we can see that the eastern parts also surrender. And yeah, in a peace negotiation we can see that all of Malaysia got completely annexed, and it seems like the Australians were building a chain around Indonesia just like this. And finally we can see that the Australians declare war on Indonesia, which was the major country right here, and let's see if they can take out Indonesia. We can see that the Australians push in from Papua New Guinea, securing all of these parts, and we can also see that they make a naval landing on this island, pushing down and cutting off the northern parts from the southern parts. Another push is being made in Borneo, and this is just happening because the Indonesian military is not yet prepared. West Timor is also taken, and yeah, in Papua New Guinea we can see that the Australian troops push around and more troops arrive on the front lines, and eventually we can see that the entire island of New Guinea is under the Australian control. And yeah, now the Indonesians are concentrating most of their troops in the Java island. Because of this, the northern parts of this island surrender. These Australian troops easily push down, securing the entire island. The same goes with Borneo, where the remaining troops surrender. Now the island hopping begins as the Australians take out all of these islands, just like that. But yeah, the Australians know that most of the Indonesian military is concentrated over here, and trust me guys, this island itself has a lot of population. So yeah, to not lose any more troops, we can see that the Australians are trying to negotiate peace with the Indonesians because they don't want to fight in this island, as that would result in a lot of casualties for both sides. So yeah, both sides come to an agreement. So yeah, now let's take a look at this peace negotiation. So yeah, in a peace negotiation we can see that all of these parts of Indonesia were completely annexed. The island of New Guinea is also completely annexed. The remaining country of Indonesia is now a vassal state. So yeah, this is pretty good for the Australian Empire. But now we can see that the Australian Empire has one final country to invade. Oh, and by the way, they take over Brunei. Sorry to any person from there. But yeah, they want to continue their expansion up north into Southeast Asia. And so obviously we can see that they declare war on Thailand. So yeah, if I do a part 2 on this video, they would most likely invade all of these Southeast Asian countries. They may also invade all of these countries, only if this video gets enough support. But at this point, the Australian military is way better, as I told you guys. So yeah, they won't be facing any problems with invading Thailand. We can see that a huge Australian army now pushes into Thailand, securing all of these southern parts, and without facing any issues, we can see that they get to the gates of Bangkok. The Thai capital city has been taken. These troops push around, taking control of major cities. But after all of this chaos, we can see that the remaining parts surrender. Later on, Thailand gets completely annexed. So yeah, this is pretty much what the Australian Empire looks like at its peak. So this is also going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and tell me what you guys want to see in the future. And thank you for watching.